So I think there's an urgency to talk about the territory's occupation of our continent and also about the development of our cities. The model is, of course, collapsing, and the environmental crisis is alarmingly revealing this, I think. The presumption of permanent economic growth associated with consumption for a few and based on the exhaustion of natural resources has generated catastrophes on the scale of our territory. Just remember the fires and devastation by mining of the Amazon, or the tragedy of Rio Doce with the rupture of the mining dam, or even what we are doing with the seas. The economic and political system reinforces the concentration of income and the increasing poverty, which continues to be the main concern to be faced in our big cities, but which also affects the most remote lands with violence. As you know, we just watched the murder of Dom Phillips and Bruno Pereira. Incredible, revolting. Okay. In a moment of strong injustice and intransigence as we live, mostly in Brazil, the government declared war against our own people. Positioning is necessary, and we try to do this when it's possible, all the work we are involved. The city as a place to congregate people is beautiful and true, but the exaggerated agglomeration of our megacities evidences the economic concentration and the lack of work opportunities in small towns. People have no choice. And the state could play a fundamental role in planning a term despised by prevailing neoliberalism, and we still have to imagine connections and a balanced network of cities that rely on territorial infrastructure, as imagined by engineers, urban planners, and architects. Like this one, the plan for a city along Tietê River, imagined by Paulo Mendes da Rocha. To project for us is the idea of a conversation, not an imposition, and could be one of our social functions. Education is another one. We have been developing teaching activities for many years, as Sergio said, which represents a fresh moment of research that's different from the office, but absolutely complementary. Me and my partner, Cristiane Muniz, joined the new board of Escola da Cidade 3 years ago. We are very proud and also concerned about this new adventure and responsibility, just in this moment when the instruction is the policy and the school is the support to construct the future. Some pictures of our school, a building that we are permanently making new use and interventions to become a school. São Paulo is a founding part of the work we do. For us, the scale of the city is a kind of key in order to establish strategies for each project we do. The metropolis is located almost 700 meters above the sea, and it's part of a constellation of cities, including Santos and its port. The city remained 4 centuries of a small town, a part of the great cities in Brazil, all of them along the coast. At the end of the 19th century, it has overcome this topography and connected the port and the interior through the highway. This event has changed the relation between coffee's production and exportation made by Santos. São Paulo became very important as a trading center in the middle of the railway, and after this, many industries were built. The city set to the 20th century with 200,000 inhabitants and ended it with almost 20 million persons 100 years later. Landscape changed from this kind of town to this. But at the same time, far from downtown, the landscape sometimes is like this. City is a combination of formal and informal cities, poor and rich, segregated. Geography was transformed so quickly to adapt to industrial production, but infrastructure to support this growth was designed without respecting the specific site. It was never joined with other systems, always thought independent without urban culture, only as urgency. Obviously, this changed into infrastructural problems, floods, water supply, housing, traffic, mobility. Until today, infrastructural works spends lots of money. We think that could be an opportunity for all of us along the 21st century to use budget for those plans to renovate city, making places for people, transform it with sense of place. But at the same time, demographers say that population's growth will stop here, and then could be possible to review the relation between original geography with lots of rivers, streams, and hills, and the construction itself. I'm going to show you some design strategies we have adopted to face some of these problems. In our first office, Una Arquitetos, with other partners along 25 years. The first one was this one. In 2003, the architect Paulo Mendes da Rocha was invited by the mayor of São Paulo to make the project for a postulation to Olympic Games in 2012. He invited 5 young studios to develop the work with him. Una Arquitetos was part of the group. The idea was to organize the new sports arenas along the main rivers, Tietê and Pinheiros. The strategy was to reorganize the city with this natural structure. The rivers are polluted, and it could be the possibility to clean the waters and turn the rivers to a new waterfront. This plan could reveal how the city is structured by the rivers and how urban life could be connected with geography. The second one concerns the transformation of peripheral areas. This place has 18 slums, favelas as we call. This neighborhood is called Sapopemba, and is densely built without infrastructure and any urban quality. Opportunity arises from combining the cleaning of streams with installation of basic sanitation to qualify public spaces and consolidate housing. This is the plan. Some places may reveal the geography that has been erased, such as the lagoon, to contain rainwater used as a recreational device, and landscape design, engineering to our advantage, thus awakening new relationship with urban waters. Protect people still living in risk areas by expanding decent house, public spaces, and new services on a local scale, turning segregated districts into neighborhoods. New small buildings put inside the urban fabric, like an idea of a new possibility of living. The railway line connects the next 3 projects. This train line crosses downtown area, São Paulo, and have to be renovated. It could be an opportunity to transform the city with a continuous public space, because it's public, the land. Moca and Ipiranga neighborhoods encompasses a fabric that is heavily occupied by old industrial warehouses, now converted into depots of purely logistic use. A new occupation that could bring people closer to downtown is possible in these vast empty areas. Proposed intervention is based upon the project for a linear park running along the railway track construction of a new cityscape in which water will have an important presence, preservation of industrial heritage, and increasing population density. Scope of the project falls between Moca and Ipiranga, the neighborhoods, rail stations, and design is largely determined by infrastructure. Flood areas converted into parks. Construction of a lake with almost 3 kilometers long to retain rainwater. No more walls to protect the tracks, only the lake. Railway line is converted into landscape. Replace and improve stations to connect subway and trains. Entrances are underpass of the railroad. Public spaces as system. Preserve industrial heritage and change some buildings' functions. New road system joined with existing streets. New social housing. And this, the complete plan with 3 high-rise buildings to finance entire project. This drawing shows the plan with the conversation with the city in 1930. Past and future together. I think this is an issue for us to make the conversation too. It's so difficult to represent a plan, an urban plan like this. We try to make this for you to imagine things. This could be our Paulista beach. We did this in a big group. This project is the renovation of Parque Dom Pedro II. We did this in a large group with other architects and consultants, other offices too. It's located on the floodplain of Tamanduateí River, one of the most important rivers of the city. It is a symbolic public space with important historical buildings and connections between downtown, the historical hill, and the east neighborhoods. Road work in early 70s transformed the park into a node of transportation system, nullifying its other public functions. There is also an elevated metro station, 2 other express bus line stations, and the largest bus station in the city. The park is currently cut off by the most important expressways, north and south, and east and west of town. Transformation of the park beyond its internal limits has a premise on an urban redevelopment that could radiate qualities to surrounding neighborhoods. Briefly, plan provides 3 axes of intervention. The first, the road system. The project extends the layering of the highway already partially defined by the municipality until the end of the park near subway station, allowing demolition of 4 viaducts that cross the park. Accessibility was expanded with the designing of new crossings. The second is the public transport system. The proposals for road system allowed reorganization of 3 public transportation systems existing today in the park. Project proposes an intermodal station connecting subway station, articulating demands of trade lines and systems. New station is developed around a leaf square garden, and new organization offers a more comfortable place for users. And the third, the retention lagoon. It was proposed a lagoon in the park that fulfills several functions. It is a key factor in the design of public space for a new urban landscape. This lagoon is designed to hold excessive rainwater in times of heavy rain, preventing flooding in the region. Lagoon includes a natural filtration system through artificial wetlands. This is the zoning for social social housing around this park. Very important to put lots of people living here, and the plan itself. Today and the plan. The lake, how it works, and the public space as a promenade. The station, the new station. There are important historical buildings in the northern section of the park. Despite the physical proximity of these buildings, there is a complete isolation between them, resulting in a disarticulated urban place. We proposed to build a square next to the municipal market, as well as 2 new institutional buildings offering leisure activities, sports, and culture. This building is under construction. It will be a SESC, as we call here in Brazil. A very important program that combines sports, culture, leisure. A big team. And the last project is the new Lapa train station. Lapa is a neighborhood with old industries and new housing, cut off by 2 train lines that divide it in 2, north and south areas. To receive new train services, there isn't enough space in railway track, as we see here. Train lines that will serve to increase demand will have to be at different levels. This is what is today and the proposed services. And then to receive the new train service, yes, so we decided to downgrade the trains and integrate it in only one new station, but with a very special construction system that faces the problem of the continuous use of the trains along the works. Engineers call this method cover and cut. With this action, neighborhood will be valorized. Districts of up and down the rail can be connected as one. Tiburtino stream, this stream that's possible to see here in blue, a tributary of Tietê River, crosses perpendicularly rails and was crucial to design the station. Construction of the station itself includes this stretch of canal bridge above the future platforms. Open ground floor will be connected to mezzanine through generous skylights. Trains remains in the landscape. When walking around the canopy, it's possible to see it at lower level. By shaded promenade, it's possible to see the discovered stream. Lapa station will reveal a small piece of seawater system. What was the back of 2 different neighborhoods became a new public space constructed as an avenue with a 1-kilometer marquee with mixed use and urban life. Brazil is experiencing a moment of intense political setback after 30 years of democracy with important social improvements. We see an ultra-conservative wave that tries to stop this movement in a country still full of injustice. Recent disasters are not coincidences. All the work here presented were hired by the state, the same one that is under heavy attack. It's up to us in our days review the disasters caused by all infrastructure modernization built over the past century and reverse the destruction of the environment from new ways of dealing with natural resources. Cities are precarious and segregated, living in 19th century problems with current technology. Income distribution is unfair. It would be up to the democratic state to play this moderating role. We hope the wind changes. Until then, our projects and educational actions will be resistance. But at the same time, our social movements are trying to say that city is only one, and it's for everybody, and it's made by people to people. We must have hope. Many thanks.